Joining us now is Nikolas Kozloff. He is a journalist and author of Revolution, South America and the Rise of the New Left, and several other books. Nikolas, how are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for doing this.
So let's just get right to it. You have a piece out, which you actually wrote a little, on the Huffington Post, I believe, called "Will Snowden Follow in the Ecuadorian Footsteps of Assange?" where you kind of talked about why Snowden might be interested in going to Ecuador and why President Correa might be interested in hosting Snowden. So what's the kind of main takeaway of your article and what's going on there?
Sure. Well, I think what I was trying to get at in the piece is that the media has paid a lot of attention to Snowden and Snowden, this personality and his history, and that's interesting. But in a sense, I think this case is now highlighting more international implications because, if Snowden winds up in Ecuador, as seems likely at this point, or at least a possibility, then I think that will highlight tensions or long-standing tensions between Ecuador and the United States. And this was also evident in the case of Julian Assange, who's been holed up in the Ecuadorian embassy in London now for more than a year. And so I think that this is going to underscore, I think, larger tensions between Ecuador's president, Rafael Correa, who seems to want to inherit the mantle from just deceased Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, who's been a thorn in the side of the U.S., and the Obama administration. So I think it's really fascinating how just this this case of this one young whistleblower could ignite very larger geopolitical tensions.
Could you tell us a little bit more about President Correa, his background, his political stance, and where does he kind of fit in the spectrum of, say, like Chavez, whom you mentioned, on maybe the kind of more sort of thoroughly populist left, and then maybe someone like President Lula or Dilma in Brazil, like who are maybe more center left? Where does he kind of fit? What's his background?
Well, I think in contrast to Lula and Dilma Rousseff, Correa ascribes to perhaps the more populist left in South America, and Brazil tends to push a little more conservative establishment politics. And I think Correa was something of a protege of Hugo Chavez in terms of his rhetorical style, in terms of the way that he mobilizes people for popular change. I think it's no secret that Correa is a firebrand politician. If you compare just typical Correa speech, I think he probably cultivates a lot of the same rhetorical techniques as Hugo Chavez. And and not just in terms of his rhetoric, but in terms of his popular programs. He has cultivated some left-leaning policies. He was a leftist economist. He at the University of Illinois.
So he was trained.
Back in 2006.
I'm sorry. So he was trained in the United States.
He's been reelected, I think, twice now, and he's going to serve out his term, I think, until 2017. He was just elected in, I think, February 2013. So he's been in power for quite a long time. And during that time, he has thumbed his nose at the U.S. in a variety of different ways. First, for example, he booted the Americans out of the U.S. air base at Manta, which is this coastal city in Ecuador. And the U.S. had conducted drug surveillance overflights from Manta over Colombia. And it was a very convenient strategic location for the U.S. And then once Correa was elected, he promptly booted the Americans out of their base in Manta, which was very discombobulating for the Bush administration at the time because it had to relocate and find other military bases in Colombia, which is obviously a lot more problematic because it's a lot more violent country than Ecuador.
Right, right.
And then also, in the economic sphere, Correa thumbed his nose at the International Monetary Fund and prioritized social spending over repaying debt. And because Ecuador is an oil exporter, just like Venezuela, the Andean nation has benefited from windfall oil profits and has been able to invest a lot of that money in the social programs, much as we saw in the case of Venezuela. And also, unlike some of his predecessors, Correa has been a lot more reluctant to conclude a free trade deal with the United States. And he's brought Ecuador into the Venezuelan orbit. He signed on to the ALBA agreement, the Bolivarian Alternative for the Americas, which have been pushed by Chavez, which is a very innovative social economic agreement, which is predicated on barter trade outside of the normal corporate strictures and this free trade that's pushed by Washington. So in a lot of ways, Rafael Correa has challenged the United States diplomatically, economically, and militarily. And now, through his harboring of Julian Assange and possibly Edward Snowden, I think this situation could become even more inflammatory because the United States could retaliate against Ecuador, which is still a pretty impoverished country. And I think Ecuador has a lot to lose. And I on a certain level, I wonder if Rafael Correa has a sense of the long-term repercussions of what he's doing, because the U.S. could retaliate in terms of trade because Ecuador has something called the Andean Trade Preference Act with Washington, and Ecuador exports tropical fruits and flowers as well as oil to the United States, and under preferential terms. But because Ecuador is politically controversial, Correa has very few supporters on Capitol Hill, and let alone the Obama administration. And so I think even before this Snowden affair, it looked like this Andean Trade Preference Act was going to expire, which has huge repercussions for impoverished Ecuador. And so, if anything, I think the Snowden imbroglio could lessen the chance of the Obama administration or Congress renewing the Andean Trade Preference Act. So again, I think these cases tend to highlight the international tensions.
What is the reaction to with people from Ecuadorians? Do they support Correa, wanting to support these people like Julian Assange and Edward Snowden? Does he have support on that level? Or, I mean, he's putting a lot on the line for someone who isn't an Ecuadorian citizen.
Well, I don't know how much support Edward Snowden has in Ecuador. This is pretty much a breaking story.
Oh, no, I mean, Correa,
but,
like, for example, with Assange. Did Correa have a lot of support with that?
Well, I think that in terms of his support of Julian Assange, he got some nationalist support in Ecuador. Don't underestimate the importance of or the political strategy of thumbing your nose against the United States. Ecuador is a small country, but it doesn't like to be pushed around by the United States. A lot of people are aware of U.S. meddling in Ecuador, which goes back to 1960. The CIA has been meddling in Ecuadorian affairs for 50 years. So I think Correa is definitely aware of that. He definitely takes advantage of that in terms of his rhetoric. But I think it's a double-edged sword, because he can shore up his nationalist base by thumbing his nose at the U.S., but also there are real economic repercussions, and it could give rise to poverty. You have these industries like the flower industry, the oil industry in Ecuador, which are pretty important. So I think Correa is going to have to weigh his options very carefully.
So, Nikolas, I wanted to actually get to something you had alluded to there. There's obviously the potential economic consequences of this sort of approach, but then there is this other history, maybe the inverse of the economic history, but obviously it's connected, as you said, of kind of CIA interference in Ecuador and really across Latin America. Obviously, now it seems like there's been a shift, at least to a certain extent, in U.S. policy, where there isn't the same type of, there aren't kind of U.S. sponsored coups happening, sort of all the time across Latin America. But that said, is that another? I mean, even again from the perspective of not necessarily even a coup, but the U.S. Coordinating or the economic consequences being felt to such an extent that Ecuador switches back to the right and elects a new government, either through a connected maybe more explicitly with U.S. policy, or just as a reaction to some of the potential economic consequences you're talking about.
I'm not sure I entirely understood you. The connection is not 100%.
Oh,
but
the
I
phone connection
understand you correctly, I think Ecuador's always had a volatile politics. Governments come and go. Actually, Correa has been in power for pretty much a record number of years now, given just how short-lived a lot of governments in Ecuador have been in recent years. And so I think for Edward Snowden, if he gets diplomatic asylum, then you have to wonder, well, if Correa gets thrown out of office or another government comes to power, are they going to be so amenable to these kinds of high-profile cases? And so I think that's definitely a concern. I think Ecuador is just a very impoverished country, politically unstable. There's just been a host of, before Correa came to power, there was just a host of governments that just came and went because Ecuador had to pay off its debts. It was, Washington was imposing or ramming through the neoliberal agenda and economic austerity, which is very unpopular in Ecuador because it results in cuts in social spending. And so you also have these combative social forces, the indigenous people, who any time that any government in Quito wants to impose austerity, then they'll block roads and mobilize the people. And so it's very unstable. And I think, if anything, Correa has been probably the most, probably have the record amount of time in office, given the short-lived regimes prior to his election in 2006 or so.